Hey, what is up guys? You're watching Epic Pokemon TCG, and in this video guys, I'm going to be showing you a Golisopod Garbodor deck. Now something I want to note really quick, which is actually kind of cool, that I saw a list earlier on Facebook actually. I can't remember who shared it. Let me look. It was like C something gaming, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, I think it was from Hartford Regionals, but the list that won Hartford Regionals, I believe, won the whole thing, is actually like a few cards off the list I've been testing for a couple weeks, and I thought that was really neat. I think like the differences is they ran 4 Wimpod, which I wanted to do. They ran 2 Trubbish, and they ran a Tapu Fini. I did not run a Tapu Fini, but I do have one right here that I got after the tournament, and I'm just going to be honest with you guys, I don't really understand the Tapu Fini. I guess because it is a water type and you can use the first attack to potentially hit something for 100 with a choice band, and then you can just switch into something you can retreat. I'm not 100% sure. Also, the GX attack's pretty nice. But yes, I don't fully understand the Tapu Fini GX tech. I really don't. I do apologize if that is like really obvious and I'm stupid. But yeah, the list was like really close to mine. I thought that was really awesome. I was like, wow, I finally actually kind of built something that a good player build, so yeah, it felt pretty special. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and get into it here, guys. Starting off with the 3-3 Golisopod here. Of course, Golisopod, one of the newer GXs, and probably like really the only deck that I'm enjoying right now, 100%. Has the attack first impression for 30, and if this Pokemon was on the bench and became your active Pokemon this turn, this attack does 90 more damage. And then it has Armor Press for 100. During your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 20 less damage from attacks. And then, of course, guys, we have Crossing Cut GX for 150, and then you switch this Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. We also run this Wimpod here with Wimp Out. Pretty much, if it is your first turn, this Pokemon has no retreat cost. So if you're lucky enough to open with a turn 1 Bridget, which this deck is actually really consistent on doing because of the 3 Tapu Lele and the 4 Ultra Ball. Also, you can, of course, open with Bridget, hoping it's not prized. You can pretty much just Bridget. And like I usually grab like a Tapu Koko, something like that, something I know I can retreat out of, and then I'll just Wimp Out, bring it up in the active spots. That way next turn I can just go like that with a Golisopod and pretty much just do that. But I don't do it in that order. I evolve, then bring it up. But yes, that Wimpod is actually very nice. This deck is really cool because basically it's all about hitting with, you know, one energy really hard over and over. And there's cards like Acerola, there's Float Stones, there's Guzma, all kinds of stuff in here that allow you to really pull off first impression very easily. On top of that, Golisopod has 210 HP, so if you're not facing a fire deck, this Pokemon is pretty much a big tank that can take a shot or two, and then you can just Acerola or get it out of harm's way. Also, it has Crossing Cut GX, of course, with a choice band, hits for 180. That is a pretty key number in a lot of different matchups. Just all around a Pokemon that hits for a pretty high amount of damage pretty quickly, and it's just really nice. We also do pair it up with a 3-3 Garbodor. We got 1 Trash Lance, 2 Garbotoxin, and of course we got the 3 Trubbish. As I mentioned earlier, that list that did very well ran 2 Trubbish. Pretty cool. But I just ran the 3rd Trubbish to kind of make it a little more consistent, so that way I can hit those Trubbish easily. Because really, like, stopping abilities at my League Challenge was really important. I did place first with this deck. I have the card over in my binder, so we're going to do a quick cut so I can show that off. Alright, if I remember to do the cut, there we go. So yeah, there's the first place card. I did place first with this deck. It was a lot of fun. Pretty consistent, worked pretty well. Got a nice Raichu here. Finally finished my page of first places. So that was really cool. But with this deck, I knew that I would be facing off against things like Greninja. I would be facing off against a Darkrai deck that really utilized Resurrection, or whatever that ability is called. Also, just stopping abilities in general is very nice with Garbotoxin because you can stop things like Gardevoir's ability. If I do say Garbodor, I do apologize. I'm trying to say Gardevoir, but I get the two mixed up. But pretty much I was all about stopping Gardevoir's ability. On top of that, you can stop Tapu Lele's ability. You can stop Greninja's. Just really anything in general that like is really relying on abilities, Garbodor is really going to hurt. Yes, Field Blower is a thing, but I've run 7 tools in this deck, so I really was holding off on playing my tools down in matchups that were really reliant on Garbotoxin, which is very nice. Also, we have 1 Trash Lance in here. This card can hit for a pretty high amount of damage late game. If your opponent's just playing down a bunch of items and such, you can surprise them with it. Really trash lance, one psychic energy. I do run the rainbows in here, as you guys see, which is very nice. So pretty much I'm just able to use trash lance late game, or even if I'm facing something that has psychic weakness, or if my opponent is just forced into playing items, trash lance can hit for a lot of damage. Pretty much just a secondary slash disruption card thing here, which is really nice. I use the Stomp Off Trubbish, of course. You never know when you might be able to hit something really nice. But yes, there is the Garbodor liner right there. Next up, we're going to take a look at 3 Tapu Lele GX. I literally got 3 the day that I went up there, which is really cool. But this has Wonder Tag. Pretty much whenever you play it on your bench, you may search your deck for a supporter card and add it to your hand. This is very nice, of course, like I said, with the turn 1 Bridget. So yes, I'm going to go ahead and just pull out my supporters now, so that way we can talk about it. You have the capability of grabbing your 4 Sycamore, potentially one of your 4 N, one of your Guzma, which is a really huge key card, your Acerola, and of course my favorite play is the turn 1 Bridget, so you can set your field up. But yes, Tapu Lele can just grab those at any time, and it is such a really nice card in this deck because of course you can just grab your Guzma, take a cheap prize, or get first impression, or soften up a Pokemon on your opponent's bench that you really want to hit. And then the 3 Acerola, very, very nice touch to this deck. Something I really enjoyed playing because you can just deny your opponent a prize. Also, you can just bring up something that has a Float Stone, free retreat, or you can bring up another Golisopod and do first impression, and then go to start getting a Golisopod set up by playing your Wimpod down and everything. Or maybe you might have a Choice Band or a Rainbow Energy DC, something that you really want to conserve or you want to move it somewhere else. You might have it on an active Golisopod or a bench Golisopod. Regardless, this is just a really nice card in this deck. I really enjoy it. But on top of that, Tapu Lele does have Energy Drive. It does 20 for each energy attached to both active Pokemon. And then you can use Tapu Cure with this deck, which is really nice. You heal all damage from 2 of your bench Pokemon. So if you have 2 very heavily damaged Golisopod or just 2 damaged Pokemon in general, you can just completely heal them. You have a pretty wide variety of GX attacks in this deck. I think that's really cool too. Next up, we're going to take a look at Drampa. This was a card that I was thinking about while I was looking through my stuff. I was like, I have the Rainbow Energy, I have Floodstone, I run DCE, I run Choice Band, and this thing takes colorless energy. So I was like, why would I not run it? And in all honesty, I liked it. The little I got to use it, I really didn't utilize it much. The idea behind this was in case I did face something that was fire, I would have some other attackers to work with. Volcanion is a horrendous matchup for this deck. Even though you do have the 3 Tapu Lele, it's not that hard to one-shot them. The matchup pretty much for me and how I think it would play out is you would really need to make sure that you can keep using Garbodor's Garbotoxin, keep that active, and pretty much go with these attackers, because if you start trying to go aggro Golisopod, then you're just going to fall behind prizes very, very quickly. So I did like the Drampa, the little I got to use it. It has Righteous Edge for 20, and then you can discard a special energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon, and then Berserk for 80, and if any of your Pokemon have any damage counters on your bench, this attack does 70 more damage. That's 150. You had a Choice Band, that's 180. And then Big Will GX, you can shuffle your hand into your deck and draw 10 cards. That is a very nice touch. I would not recommend doing that because, of course, N is a thing, and I would rather save my Crossing Cut GX. But hey, if you are just in a massive slump and that's like the only option you got, then go for it. And then we're going to round out with Tapu Koko. I really love Tapu Koko. This card's so good in this deck. Like I said earlier, you can bridge it turn 1, Wimp out, bring up Tapu Koko, and then go from there. It just has the free retreat, which adds a lot of flexibility. Like if a Golisopod or something gets Guzma up and knocked out, you can just promote Tapu Koko, so that way you're pretty much guaranteed the first impression if it's on your bench. And also it has Flying Foot for 20 to every single one of your opponent's Pokemon, which is just a really nice way. If you're able to hit a couple of these, you can really soften up some Pokemon and take some really easy prizes. All around, just a very good card. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at the Spores again. Well, should we? Well, in case I went a little too fast. 4 Sycamore, 4 N, 4 Guzma. This is just a really nice way to hit first impressions effect of the extra 90 damage. Yes, 90 damage. And also bring up something kind of like a Lysander ability. Acerola, like I said, just deny your opponent prizes. And then, of course, Bridget, turn 1. You can search your deck for 3 basic Pokemon or 1 Pokemon EX and put them on your bench. And so essentially what I would try to do with this deck whenever I did hit the turn 1 Bridget, like let's say I started Wimpod, the ideal thing that I would go for would be Tapu Koko, another Wimpod, and if your matchup is very reliant on having Garbodor out, I would grab Trubbish. But you know, hey, if you don't really need Garbodor, and if it's in there, I would most of the time try to grab this. And the reason why I would try to grab another Wimpod is because of the Acerola play. Basically, if your field looks a little something like this, and this is the damaged one right here, you can Acerola, bring this up, play that down, play that back down, so that way if your opponent does in you or something like that, you're still able to have 2 Golisopod. You can kind of keep rotating them out and such. But yeah, I just like having like 3 Wimpod on my bench, just because, or 2 Wimpod on my bench, 1 active, or just 3 Wimpod in general on my field, so that way I can just kind of keep making sure I can rotate these Golisopods around as I can. So that's a really nice touch. Acerola, I'm so glad I added the 3rd one in there, because originally the list I ran with Golisopod Zoroark only ran 1 Acerola, and I noticed that I really needed more than 1, and so I think 3 is a pretty good number. For the item cards, we're going to run 4 Ultra Ball. I think like the most ideal thing here is for Tapu Lele, because of course you can turn 1 supporter, which is really nice. So yes, also this will allow you to just search out Pokemon in general, really nice there. I also decided to run a couple Heavy Ball, which is really good. I can't remember if that list, that one Hartford Regionals ran it. I don't think it did. But this was like a last second addition for me, the 2 Heavy Ball, because this can search out your Golisopod and your Wimpods, which is really nice. And it's just like a free search, and what I like about it is just like, it's a search card, so you can see what's prized if you haven't done that already, and there's no drawbacks to it, and I'm pretty much grabbing the 2 most important Pokemon in the deck, which is really good. So 6 ball cards. You can definitely go about that a different route if you would like to. Next up, we have 4 Floatstone and 3 Choice Band. I think the Floatstone is the most important item card in this deck, mostly because it's going to allow you to basically be able to really get first impressions full effect. Also, on top of that, this is the ideal item you want to slap onto Garbodor for Garbotoxin. And so, yes, this is just pretty much going to allow you to kind of have flexibility with moving your Pokemon around, hitting first impression, and really, really good stuff there. Also, Choice Band can allow you to hit a little harder. You can turn first impression into 120. You can turn Armor Press into 130. And, of course, Crossing Cut GX you can turn into 180 and 180 with Berserk. You can hit a little harder with Tapu Lele. You can hit for 50 on a GX with that. And also you can hit a little harder on, there it is. You can hit a little harder with Trash Lance, which is very nice with Choice Band. Really good, really, really good item. Then we have 2 Field Blowers just to discard some annoying stuff that you might, be dealing with, like stadiums and such. I don't run any stadiums in this deck, so the 2 Field Blower are really nice. You can just get rid of your opponent's item card, or you can just get rid of some stadiums, or just whatever you might need to get rid of. 1 Rescue Stretcher, you can put a Pokemon from your discard pile into your hand, or you can shuffle 3 back into your deck. I found this card is really good in multiple situations, especially if you need a Golisopod, or you can grab Tapu Lele, which is like a really popular play there to just guarantee yourself a supporter. And if you're just really late game, you need some Pokemon back in your deck, you can use the other effect to shuffle 3 back in, which is really good. But yeah, that's really awesome. Also want to note that I am using the beautiful Ultra Pro Eclipse sleeves. They're very sick. I very love these. I very love these. I love these sleeves. I can't speak today. I never can in any video. You guys know this. But yeah, I love these sleeves, man. These are so nice. I apologize if you do hear noise in the background. My dad is deaf, apparently. Alright, for the energy, we run 3 Grass Energy, 4 Rainbow, and then we run 4 DCE. The Rainbow, of course, is going to be in here for pretty much just Garbodor for the most part. You can also run, or you can use Tapu Cure, and that's really about it. Also, it just doesn't really affect being able to pull off Golisopod. And of course, if I did run the Tapu Fini in here, that would be very nice too, because I can use its attacks pretty much. So yeah, that is the deck. I really enjoyed it. I'm really liking Golisopod. As you guys can see from my channel, most of my videos have been Golisopod related. And that's just because I've been playtesting this deck as much as I absolutely can and trying to see how I can get it going. And I think I got a pretty good list right now. This is pretty, this is about as comfortable as I can get with the deck, honestly. Maybe some minor switches. I can figure out why exactly this thing is in here, because I'm completely stupid and I don't know what the heck is going on there. I might have to do some research into that, but for the most part, I really like this deck. Golisopod, finally, I found a deck that I really click with and I really enjoy playing. And so, yeah, anytime I can play a really good deck that has one of my favorite Pokemon in it, I'm always going to hop right on that sucker. Before I was running two Tapu Lele, and I ended up switching out one Choice Band for the third Tapu Lele, I believe. I can't remember the change exactly, but yeah, for the most part, this deck's really awesome. I really enjoy it. And I'm going to go ahead and end the video now because my dad's blasting his TV as loud as I can absolutely go because he is deaf. So yes, take care guys. I love you. Appreciate all of you for watching. And the vlog for the League Challenge should be up pretty soon. So yeah, make sure to go check that out. Appreciate all the support guys. Take care. And this is Epic Pokemon TCG signing out.